let us have a moment here. Let's all pause and breathe and enjoy. The professor is ready.
Yes, the professor is back. I would put no B+. There's no way. That is the lowest grade I've given this year. Well, fellas, for a loss, a close loss, I think the grades actually are going to be pretty decent, for a loss. Offense, 315 yards of offense is pretty doggone good. 177 yards passing's not what you want. That's underneath what we want, but 130 yards rushing, 138 yards rushing. They were 8 of 16 on third down, which is very good. They were 50% in the fourth down. You'd like to be better, but 50% is okay. We're okay with that. Did give up 1 sack. Interception was thrown. We don't like that. But what I do see in the red zone, they were 50% in the red zone, and that's important. That was one of the reasons why I thought a B- was legitimate.
Got to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the way they started and the way they rallied and putting themselves in position, it was a big-time turnaround. And the other part of it is the consistency that you're looking for. And I look back at it like, after the C.J. Gardner-Johnson interception, you had the ball at the 35-yard line, pass, punt. Like, I don't ever want to say anything even remotely questioning Ben Johnson, but I'm also like, I don't know, man. This is your strength. This is what you do. Why not,
run the ball?
Run the ball. Do what. Let's get some rhythm going, and then you can move on to opening.
I think it's also fair to point out that they hadn't really established a run early on. I mean, they did eventually, and I thought it was very encouraging that they wore the Packers down. And by the second half, I mean, you got Micah Parsons standing on the sideline, gassed.
Yeah.
So I think I get it. First pass of the game though, he also we're talking about a quick speed out to Luther Burden, and Caleb just airmails him.
Right.
So
at that point, all right, we'll run it for a minute here until you feel good, and we'll get you back going.
But you got to be able to, get some completions to feel good. So it's a double-edged sword. For me, Caleb needs to start faster and just be more accurate, and it'll fix a lot of this stuff.
It'll fix a lot. It'll clean a lot of that up. Defense. I gave defense a D+. Okay. And this was very close to being a C or C+, because, when you look at they gave up 220 yards passing. That's 21 yards over what it's close. They gave up 117 yards rushing. That's close. You want it to be under 100 yards. What I didn't like was that Green Bay was 8 of 12 on third down. That was the one key. This is the number one team in the NFL on third down, and we didn't win enough on first and second down, and we got ourselves into situations where our pass rush does not get to the quarterback. And because of that, we gave up about 4 big plays, and those were really the decider of the game. You eliminate those big plays, and the Bears walk away with a win on this game.
What's Lance Briggs doing if Dennis Allen calls up? Hey, Lance, just curious. It's DA here. I know you watch us every week. What do you think I can do defensively to perhaps help us get to the QB? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, everybody's got to do their job. Everybody's got to do their job, Coach. I'm a linebacker. I'm on underneath coverage most of the time. But if I have man coverage and I have a guy, I'm calling him out. I'm going to take him. If you're putting me into the blitz, I'm going to bust my ass to get in there and get some pressure on the quarterback. I have to do my job. I can't do our safety's job. I can't do our defensive end's job. Everybody has to do their job in order for us to be effective. And you look at this game, it's a game where if they tackle Josh Jacobs, they're way under 100 yards giving up rushing allowed. So you look at it, you're going to say, hey, listen, let's take those 4 plays away, and let's see what our numbers are. Our numbers are fantastic as a defense if we take those big explosive plays away. But we have to do our job. We have to get to the quarterback. We have to rush. We have to cover.
Was the Bo Melton play, was that communication?
Well, they're dropping into the way I saw it. It seemed like they were basically The other safety came down, and Jalen Johnson was supposed to go back to basically be the cover 2 safety, which he's got to then come off the guy. He's playing the guy underneath. He's got to have the deep half. And so when Bo Melton comes to his half of the field, that is his responsibility. And based on the answer Jaquan Brisker gave after the game when he was asked, was there a communication problem? He's like, I'm not going to answer that. I got to make the play. That's what I think was probably what happened. I don't know how many times Jalen Johnson's actually had to do that in his career.
The routes, those routes specifically stress those players, and they're 2 high beaters. They're 2 high beaters, cover 4 beaters, cover 2 beaters, where you stress them, and you have to practice that a lot to recognize it. Now, a lot of times you'll see it. You'll have that in route with the skinny behind it, and it's easy if guys are jogging. It's easy. Oh, I'll take this guy. I'll take this guy. But when you have one guy that's fast, okay, and he's running the sucker at 100 miles an hour, and he's running that digger at 100 miles an hour. Now, oh, shoot, okay, I have to make this decision fast, and I have to get myself into a back pedal to make sure that I can cover this guy. Right. It's stressful. It stresses the coverage, but that's what you practice it. You have to practice it enough to know.
In Jalen's spot, though, is he basically nobody can ever be behind me, even though I'm all the way on this side of the field and Bo's coming from all the way over there. Is that
if they're in cover if they're in cover 2, there's some that he can play underneath because he's a cloud corner. He'd be a cloud corner. Now, if they're in cover 4, yes, there's nobody that can be deeper than him. Special teams. I think we just might as well start off with the kick, the off kick by Santos. That drastically brings his grade down. He did make 2 field goals, which was awesome. Torrey Taylor he had 2 inside 20, 1 touchback. I think a C is
generous.
Yeah, the kick was bad. Mm-hmm. But when people say, why don't we just do these dirty kicks all the time? That's why. I can hear it both ways. You're a kicker. You have lots of time to practice different kicks, figure it out. On the other hand,
you're not golfing.
You got to, it does have to land in between the 20s. That was just a bad kick. I mean, he just miskicked it.
Yeah.
It almost hit one of the Packer players on the fly. Which would not have been, like an onside kick where sometimes in the past you might actually try to do that.
Yep.
No, that would have still been a penalty. So it's a bummer.
Just for the record, I trust Cairo. Cairo's going to be big against the Browns. He's going to be big against the Packers. He's going to hit a huge kick here in the playoffs, damn it. That just wasn't Cairo's best moment.
Yeah. Coaching fellas, listen, we can't give up 28 points. And defensively, and at the end of the game, we have to be able to close it out offensively and score or get the first down on 4th down and follow that up with a score to win the game. And with those things in mind, I think a C+ is fair for coaching all around.
Yeah, I look at it like this. I mean, look, first of all, 4 really good coaches. If you just look at the offensive and defensive coordinators,
absolutely,
including the head coaches, obviously they're play callers. So that's a cool part of this rivalry right now in this matchup. We're going to see it again in 12 days now, next Saturday. I thought that Jeff Hafley got the best of Ben Johnson in the first half.
Yep.
And I thought Ben Johnson did a great job of making adjustments at halftime, and that's got to make you feel good about the future. And on the other side of the ball, I don't think Dennis Allen necessarily had a horrible game, but
he's got to find a way to dial up.
Matt LaFleur got the best of him the whole game.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.